All right, so incidentally, today focus on the program is essentially around the U.S.-Nigeria relations, as it has to do with the very weighty allegation by the U.S. that there has been a systemic genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And that in itself, in the last few days, has raised eyebrows as well as driven up tension. As it stands today, there's the belief that based on threats coming from the United States, especially from the person of the President, Donald Trump, Nigeria is likely going to see American military presence on her soil. What are the implications of such a development, especially given how that even as of yesterday, the U.S. President was still railing about this military intervention? What steps can Nigeria take to help avert this? What are the ramifications, especially for a country like Nigeria that is a sovereign state? I'm joined virtually from Lagos this morning by a political analyst, Francis Emele, to help our viewers understand what exactly it is we are dealing with as a nation at this point in time. Francis, thank you for joining us on Good Morning.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity of having me around.
Great. I want us to begin from the first part of the conversation, which is the basis on which many people believe that Nigeria is a sovereign state, and the worst America can do is to engage us, engage Nigeria, engage Nigerian government diplomatically. But President Trump apparently is not toeing that path. Do you see the possibility of a U.S. military presence in this country, and what does that mean for us in Nigeria?
Let me start from your assertion that Nigeria is a sovereign state. By book we are, but in reality we are not. From my little knowledge of government, I think it was defined as during the secondary school day. I'm a trained scientist, so I'm not a lawyer, neither am I a political scientist, but the definition of sovereignty, according to what we learn from government in secondary school, is the total supremacy, the highlight supremacy of a state over its current and domestic affairs without current interference. So are we saying if it is an organized body like USA that is coming, we are supreme states, but when it comes to ragtag organizations like Boko Haram and the rest, we are not sovereignty. Let me come again. Are we saying if it's coming from a body, an organized body like another country, we are sovereign? But when the interference is coming from a ragtag organization like Boko Haram, like Fulani herdsmen, and all these people causing problem, we are not sovereign. Is sovereignty also subjective? I mean, is the definition of subjective as well? By paper, we are sovereign, but by what is happening, we can't begin the argument from that premise, because there is Ghana here, our neighbor. There is other countries, our next door neighbors. Why is the USA not going there? There's been a time that the then Nigerian Ghanaian president was emphatic about Fulani herdsmen, and they were sent away. These are information available in the internet. What is giving us that pride to shout we are? I don't even want to go to the other ways, like dependency in almost everything. A sovereign state whose secrets are known by outsiders than the state. If we want to talk about the state of our current president head, you can get it better from France than in Nigeria. It is possible that virtually no doctor in Nigeria will be fully aware of his medical history, but go to France hospital, you get it. Can you say such to a country like North Korea? You can't say it, irrespective of how acquainted they may be or how diplomatically friendly they may be to countries like China or even Russia. There is limits to what the little man will give out because he is in control of the state. We're in control of Nigeria. So I don't want to begin with that the sovereignty or this. We are not beating about the bush. I think the crux of the matter is, are we able to protect everybody in Nigeria, irrespective of religious and tribal affiliation? Are we able to protect ourselves? Is it not what we call see finish in the Lagos streets, in our street palace? It's see finish now, because before anybody see you finish, because you are not even coordinated in your own self. It's like a neighbor in a place who says, "This is my house." Every day he's beating his wife. The woman nearly died. "This is my house." We've seen instances where neighbor intervened and even beat the man up. So yes, there is what is called sovereignty, and by definition we are a sovereign state, but there is limit to your anyhowness. You can't just be doing anyhow and you say you're a sovereign state. For example, let me give you an example. Assuming Nigeria now start burning as in openly as a state, burning people. I don't want to say Christian, whether it's enemies, whether it's Islam or Christian or anybody, burning as in killing them openly. And a body like UN or US or whoever want to talk, you say we're a sovereign state. Don't you know there are limits even to this? I think lawyers will know better.
All right, let's now you're talking about the issue of sovereignty in the case of Nigeria, for example. But let's look at the approach. Yes, countries can interfere, well, depending on what the circumstances are and the scale of the issues that are at stake. But in the case of Nigeria, for example, even if the US were to intervene, which they have done, I mean, by actually interfering already as it stands right now, is it not an overreach for someone like President Trump to threaten military intervention, to say that he will enter the country gun ablazing? Is that not rascally of a president? I mean, we may not agree altogether that Nigeria is a sovereign state in practice, but are those statements, those utterances by a U.S. president in 2025 not a bit of a gutter attitude?
Yes, it sounds so. It sounds, of course, we must admit that even the person that is saying it, I'm not just enter Nigeria start fight. Who is even going to fight? Now, let's put this in perspective. Trump himself is somebody that is well known for brash statement of such, even when he's not going to do exactly what he's saying. But I don't know why we are so much concerned of the statement of Trump, more concerned than the lives that are being killed, massacred. I wish we were online, where I can display the pictures I took by myself in Plateau State, where I served. I was already acquainted with the happenings in Plateau State, having school in the Middle Belt, and also having been in Plateau for several times. So I know all these things will just be possible. You know, this is your question. All this grammar we are doing are all possible because you are in Abuja in one comfort place. I listened to Ruben Apati yesterday. That was very funny. It was something very annoying, but he thought it was funny, saying to me, "I'm a Nigerian. I'm not persecuted," and that person say, "I'm not persecuted too." That's brash. That's insensitivity of a very high order. You are saying because you are in a comfort zone, the people in the hinterland can perish as long as it doesn't concern you. Now, I've been to Plateau. I served there. I even served Atlanta, meaning I entered very well. I passed through all those I went down. It's not as if I served that just come back. And I was not among those who just went to report. I lived at Plateau. I did rural rugged across places. I was at Donawa. I slapped a mass grave by myself. It's still in my system. I know what I'm talking about. And I have people who were directly affected. Even from Jonathan, this is the not start from Tinubu anyway. Even from Jonathan. So I know what I'm talking about. So the statement is brash. It sounds so. And of course, it's not just going to enter Nigeria. In Nigeria too, the data points of the APC have been mobilized well, and our politicians, not just APC, and they have so much tried to divert attention, saying it will affect everybody. As if they are going to enter into the street of Lagos and start shooting anybody they just see in Abuja. Maybe they will come to your station now and shoot you. Is it what they are saying? If there should be, there may be, or there will be, or there will ever be any intervention, it's going to be direct strike to, it may not even be put on ground. It's going to be direct strike to terrorists. So why are we so much protective of this terrorists? Why are we so much protective of them that if we kill, if 100 people are killed in Nigeria overnight, we will have less reaction to it than we have at this particular statement from Trump, the brash Trump. This is undeniable. I mean, if we wake up in the morning now, we have 500 people slaughtered in a place in Nigeria, and they are being buried. And at the same time, we still hear that the killers are living there, have renamed the city, and are now the new occupant of the city. I'm telling you that it will not raise as much concern as this so-called Trump's brashness has raised. So I don't know why we dwelling on what Trump say, more than putting our house in order, irrespective of political affiliation. What Trump says is simple, it sounds very harsh. In fact, it is. It sounds harsh, it sounds authoritarian, authoritative, it sounds domineering, it sounds intimidating, and the rest of them. But I'm less concerned of what Trump is going to say. Like you and I can actually analyze it politically, socially, economically, we speak all the grammar, but how is somebody who is directly affected from Dogona, Hawaii, Jos, from Southern Ghana, people who have been displaced and their villages, communities renamed and new occupants assumed, and people who are from Agatu in Benue State, how do you think they feel it? Or do you think it's only you and I and Ruben Abatina live in Nigeria? These are all our perceptions. How about somebody who is directly affected? How does he take it?
Oh, okay, first of all, I'm going to ask you something else in this regard as well, but you don't know where I live, so you don't know if I'm comfortable or not. In any case, whatever Dr. Abati said, I'm sure there is opinion entirely, but I want us to look at this point in time, the unfolding tension now. From where you stand, from what you know, from the things you've read, and from the history we have seen with insecurity, especially in northern Nigeria, what do you think the Nigerian government's response under President Bola Tinubu should have been in such a way that we can move things real quick in terms of how we address this very nasty situation?
Okay. Let me briefly touch what you just mentioned. When I use you on this, because I don't know you, even if I know you, it's generic. When I use you, it's generic. Leave that of it's not really about you, the interviewer. It's about you in Nigeria,
right,
who may or may not live in that place. Okay, the response of the president is one of those watery, repetitive. It affects everybody. I think the right response should have been first admit that there is a crisis that is on the scale of society. Now, the assumption that you can use rhetoric, repetitive, meaningless, stale rhetoric to divert attention, which I've been reading from different arms of government, shouldn't have arisen, because we should know that the people that are making the accusation are on ground. It is the American evangelicals, which I may not agree, it does not mean that I agree in everything they do, that are pressurizing Trump. They feed you with wrong information. How can it be wrong information? If US decide to give you proof, will you deny it? There is nothing you know that average Nigeria do not, that the US does not know. There are nations that have worked in Southern Kaduna, that have worked in Jos, they have worked in many DC for many long time. In fact, before I even went to MENA, mid 2000s for school, I already had the voice of the Matthias. That's a publication from Jones then. The book I would still be having it now, if not because the cover was not well binded, so it is scattered with time. The voice of Matthias, it gathered testimonies of this affected zone happenings, proven happenings. Now internet has come to help things. There are videos, there are audios. The Americans are not that lousy. intelligence are collected. If you tell them to tell you what happens, even right from this time of Goodluck Jonathan, I remember Dogonawa was it happened during Goodluck Jonathan. So the response should have been that of either you are capable of proving that is wrong with empirical evidences, or you accept it and start work and say you work on it, or we are working on it. Not just we are working on it. Like from yesterday, day before yesterday, you see military even circulating some stale lies of we caught this, we released this from kidnapping. If I drop this one now and get the internet, I will see another headline. The military released this and this from this and this zones from just from this. Is it what we want here? There is no one you will lie. We'll dig it out. We'll go to Twitter, we'll go to Facebook, we'll go to every social media platform and dig them out and show you that this is just a speculation. Poorly edited something that you recycle. So you think you are stronger in propaganda than the Western media? No. So the right approach would have been to first admit that there is issue, not saying Muslims are also killed. Is it not giving out this power of sovereignty to others? Okay, your baby is crying, they are fighting, this one, neighbors come. What is happening to this boy that it's not Liam that is crying, that is being injured, he's just shouting. His mother also was wounded too. Who was supposed to protect these people? In fact, we are now saying I'm helpless. The Muslims are also killed. In fact, Muslims are killed more. So if we are to account all this thing that is happening to Christians that have been projected for years by nations, by everybody, people have been shouting about it, that means even Islam, Muslims are being killed more than this. That means this is a killing field. That means you are inviting the international community. You are actually declaring directly or indirectly that I'm helpless. So the approach should be first accept, then you engage diplomatically, then you also leave just image managing that we are trying to do, image management, we are trying to do, and you go to work. Let's see you working.
Yesterday there was a publication by one of Nigeria's frontline newspapers reporting that at least some 12 governors in Nigeria may be sanctioned by the United States government in light of this same Christian genocide conversation. Is that a pointer, or is it indicative of the possibility that the U.S. authorities probably have intelligence on certain individuals, especially politically exposed individuals who may be behind this insecurity in our country?
In answering this question, I want to think in the U.S. too. Of course, that's where we follow them too. Sometimes when people start shouting, the U.S. have interest, the U.S. have interest. It's as if the U.S. too has been silenced too for a long time, because why are they even coming up now? They have, it's not just a pointer, it is a proof. It's just a fortification of the existing proofs that they already, of course they know. Was it not during Buhari regime that Saudi Arabia jailed some Nigerians who were accused of or convicted of complicity for is it jailed or sanctioned some Nigerians who were accused of complicity for insecurity? It is also well known that the DSS knew about people who formed Boko Haram, which even the presidency one time, not this presidency, promised to release, and before you know it, they gambled about it. If Saudi Arabia have information, we know the relationship between Saudi Arabia and USA with information sharing. In fact, without even knowing it, Saudi Arabia is no more advanced in information gathering than US. So the US know, and they know the people. Why are they even counting only for these governors? Don't they know more than that? If they even have started by sanctioning, re-sanctioning of those people, bringing back even their wars from US, because many of them are there. If they have started from there, there will be no much opera. They know whatever made them to keep it for whatever interest is their concern. But the fact is that they know. It's not just a pointer, it's a proof, it's just an enhancement of what you already know. or making public of what we already suspect that happens. The US know. In the words of former President Goodluck Jonathan, America, we know.
Yesterday, we understand the National Security Advisor, Noel Ribadu, got into a meeting with the service chiefs. Closed-door meeting, it was said to be. Apparently, again, as part of efforts to address this tension between the United States and Nigeria. If we really want to be proactive, if we really want to be, maybe not a step ahead of the US, but if we really want to bring our A game to this situation right now, do you think Nigeria should be ready for any kind of hostility from the United States, whatever kind?
I don't know why Enyimba should be preparing for a real football match with the blazing club like Arsenal now. Why are we of course, I don't think anybody even is envisaging that the best we can do is collaboration, not confrontation. Are we on what grounds? With what weapon? With what are we going to? I don't even think US is ever imagining direct confrontation with Nigeria. I do not also believe what the Trump's threat is anyway suggestive of that. If Trump is coming to Nigeria for whatever, I want to believe it's going to be on air targeting of the suspects, which are the real hoodlums in the bush. It's not going to affect any man in Kano streets. If they are going to talk about sanction, it's just like they appointed already 12 governors from northern Nigeria to sanction. The orders from something, it's not geographically restricted to sanction them too. So I think that's the best they can do in the city, but not entering inside this we are trying to make of it. Okay, it's going to affect anybody. Maybe inside the city and start shooting everybody as if they want to kill Nigerians. It's not like that. So we shouldn't dwell on that very much. And I do not think by the widest imagination that Noel Ribadu is gathering security chiefs in preparation of confrontation with the United States of America. I don't think anybody, even President Tinubu, will even dream of that. It's not just apart from the fact that we are subpar with them, we are also not ready. I don't think Nigeria is even ready to go and fight Cameroon today. Nigeria, this our Nigeria, this our military. I don't think we're ready to go and fight anybody. This country, this military is well trained beyond limits by insurgency and the rest of them for decades. It's well trained beyond limits by corruption, by a lack of equipment and outdated equipment. And you are not going to fight South Africa, you want to go and fight USA. It's just diplomacy that is required. That gathering may just be most symbolic and strategic. Unless they are now going to gather for them to launch full operation on the insurgents to show the world that they actually want. But as for USA, nobody is taking anything. I'm not taking anything. You are not taking anything. Tinubu is not taking anything. No, Ribadu is not taking anything about going to confrontation, going on confrontation with USA.
There are people who believe that for whatever it's worth, this issue, this conversation we're having is a blessing for Nigeria because this morning, news is basically reporting that the federal government, again under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, is moving to now appoint ambassadors, which has not happened for a very long time. Do you think this is a commendable effort as part of helping to strengthen our diplomatic fronts?
Okay. Are you with me?
Yes, very well.
Okay. Yes, now, don't you know that even if everything ends today, some people will be mocking and saying, okay, some of you were happy that America said they want to crush us, which is also wrong. Nobody wants to be crushed. Even if everything ends today, the awareness of the killings, whether we call it genocide or not, the sense of recognition by the real victim, not you and I, the real victim, the sense of awareness also by the perpetrators that the world has seen. Because it has lingered so much that even the killers, even the sponsors might be thinking before now that they were hiding. That they know, yes, the world know, even if something is not happening now, something can happen. It has already created an atmosphere of joy, peace, rejoicing with the people that are affected. Then the other part you are talking about, diplomatically speaking, why should we not have ambassadors by now? Is it not the ambassador is legally or rightly supposed to be engaging the US even before the presidency tried to, because the ambassador already is supposed to have a very clear diplomatic channel.
Right. I guess we just, yes, you were making a point. Please, can you just go on with your point?
Someone was giving reason to protect the government, these boys, to justify our inability of having ambassadors, saying to maintain one ambassador is 300 million something. The thing is rubbish, because it's like saying, okay, food is very expensive. That's why I'm not going to eat today for the next 2 months. If I'm not going to eat this year, that's exactly what it means. The ambassadorial position is not just one of those positions. They are not chief of staff that you can do without. They are not some ministry that you can match. They are not. They are life wire of a country's diplomatic outreach. It is ambassadors that actually directly link conflict. And this is just, we are ambassador of US. And he's meeting with maybe press or Secretary of State or whoever. If you don't have, and you are giving a reason, people that bought, how many did they spend in renovating? It's not that 9 billion they spent in renovating and putting in put former international conference center that is now renamed. How much are being looted on it? How much did we budget for the not never going to be completed whatever coastal road? How much are we spending in paying off National Assembly and looting in National Assembly that cannot be caught to maintain such position as ambassador? So it's a good news, a very good news. It will force the presidency to have ambassador. It doesn't have to be in all countries of the world. Strategically, how can you be having US without ambassador? Even as it is now, why should we be having a China without ambassador? UK, that is our whatever, should have ambassador there. You pick some states. If we have 50 countries across the globe, for instance, you pick at least 5. If there is any reason not to increase, ambassadorial position is not one dormant or useless position you can say, I want to scrap it. It is required to maintain a state across the globe. So it's a good news.
Great. We're taking a quick break now, Francis, just for a few seconds, so you can catch your breath. And we're coming back to ask you a few other questions. For example, issues around what the AU or ECOWAS should be doing, how they should be responding to an issue like this. Those are some of the other elements we want to look at in this conversation after this break. Please do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of
our demand.
This is Global Morning.
All right, Francis, I need to ask you this real quick. There's the theory that, yes, even though the US may have some, well, evidence regarding these very weighty allegations, but the underlying motivation for them is their economic interests in Nigeria, number one. Number two is they say in recent times, Nigeria is beginning to tilt more towards the east. China, Russia, and what have you. And of course, you know about the BRICS now as against the G7 and all of that. Don't you think there is more to this than meets the eye in terms of what we basically will call in international politics enlightened self-interest?
Okay, of course, we are humans and we are exposed to international and regional politics. We cannot just rule out interests. And that's I'm not a supporter of certain things does not mean that I don't support Nigeria. You know, something will happen, you'll be saying how I wish we were doing well. How I wish we were doing well. The same people that are parroting these things will be the same people that will launch counter protest against anyone who internally want to protest against killing. I mean, the same people parroting American interests are all here. We shouldn't even be mentioning resources. Are we living like people that have resources? If our politicians steal the resources and take it to America to build university, to build industry, to build America, to put their children, America come and steal the resources and go there. In fact, America will even be less brutal when they are harnessing the resources, because I'm telling you that if you've seen, if they are the one exploiting our natural resources, those communities will not be in disarray. I mean, if they are doing it legally, not when they are using parties and the rest. So they will even be better, even better off than our politicians doing the same. Which has, when you say, come on, man, America want to take our resources. This best way never job. What resources are they taking from you? So we can't rule out those ones. But those points cannot becloud our reason so much so that everything we condemn we say because they have interest. Okay, let's do something so that they will not have interest now. Okay, it's plausible between you and I. You, as I said before, is generic. But the plausibility structure changes when you take it to somebody who is a direct victim. You take it to somebody, you are telling somebody in Plateau State that is being killed, or, I've met some people that anything that they have, both extended family have been wiped out.
Right.
You can understand somebody who is standing alone, he has nobody on this earth. He's walking. If he dies, nobody looks for him. Why? The family have been wiped out. Now you are bringing that person and tell him, America want to take our resources. Is it not better to take our resources? I'm talking on behalf of the person and allow him to live. I saw what Otom did as a point. God provoked. I'm talking about the former governor of Benue State, and did that mass burial in a manner that has not happened before. In Plateau, it is church that normally do it. The governors are there playing political correctness, but Otom praised and did it. And that
Right. Oh, again, we lost our connection with our guest right there. Let's see how we can get right back to him. We're just making a point about some of the issues around Nigeria and how that those who are directly affected would react. Please, you can just quickly finish up with your thoughts.
Okay, so that would be possible. That theory of they want to take our this and that would be possible for suit wearing, tie wearing commentator like me. It may
Again, another stray bullet, I guess.
I'm telling you, but the farmer in the bush who is a direct victim, it will not be plausible.
Right.
And we remember that Nigeria does not belong to us alone, it belongs to all of us. That's it.
Okay, let's talk about multilateral institutions. For example, there's the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. There's the African Union, AU. There are people who say for a country, for a continent like Africa with 54 nations, you can't have this sort of back and forth between Nigeria and the United States. And up till now, we have not read or seen official statement or position, whether by the AU or ECOWAS. What are your thoughts about this?
Those organizations, from by definition now, they are moribund. They're existing on paper. What have they done? What have they done? If you are talking about European Union, you see collaboration in many things. I've read a lot of articles of people urging them to. Do you even what do we have in common really? I mean, do we you can work freely across the? Where are you in the beginning? These countries, if this organization, AU, African Union, and the other one you mentioned, ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, are hardly mentioned. There is nothing they are doing. You can't walk in. You can't stand up from somewhere. No way. ECOWAS is nowhere to be found. They were not working before now, so they can't just start working because it's Nigeria. I don't know whether they are being stabbed or fought, or just because countries are not agreeing to work together or something. ECOWAS meeting does not pull any attention from media. ECOWAS cannot sanction anybody and it will stand. Have they? No. Look at when there was queue around. What were they able to do? We want to. Till now, we don't even know where they stand. There is no. Let's leave this particular organizations because they are ineffective. If they are building, they are highly dilapidated building. Maybe they worked before now, but now they are powerless. There is nothing they can do. Is it not people who should be? In fact, before 24 hours after Trump's speech, ECOWAS and AU maybe should have been issuing some very stern statement, whether it is warning not to invade Africa, invade Nigeria, not to enter their territory, or appeal, or even diplomacy too. They are not doing anything, and they are not going to do anyone. They don't have any strength for intervention, so we shouldn't be talking about them until they are better.
Let's wrap it up now quickly. Do you share the opinion that this U.S.-Nigeria row will spur the Nigerian government, especially the military and defense authorities, to do more in terms of how they tackle insecurity?
The way Nigeria is fashioned now, it can only happen. It can only spur them to do more, to work, if the threat continues. If the Trump administration decide to remain on the threat, if we back down now and say, okay, the work, they will not work. Another important aspect of it is that if there is any signal at all that this particular occurrence is going to affect the chances of President Tinubu in 2027, I'm telling you they will work. But if it's not going to affect it, forget there's nothing that will happen. Look at what is happening now. What is the response? The response is that of image making. And we're trying to make the world believe, not by action or going to attack this. Instead, we are digging out stale news to reinforce our propaganda, to convince the world, as if the world, which is now a global village, does not have tools for investigation. So I do not personally believe anything will happen if the Trump administration just stop now, unless the pressure continues. Like Canada joined yesterday, the international community pressured very well, and the current administration really feel it, that it's going to affect their chances of coming back to office in 2027. They may work, but I know it's also a very tricky situation because the only administration don't want to affect the funder because they control election and votes in the north. So you don't want to affect them. But of course, you have to choose one if the pressure will build up.
All right, Francis Emele, political analyst, would like to thank you very specially for taking out time to share your valuable thoughts with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's what we'll leave it with our first conversation. But we're going to stretch it a bit further, but from altogether different angles, still regarding the U.S.-Nigeria row. This time regarding these very weighty allegation of genocide